Good morning to all. So in our previous lecture, we have discussed about the significance of substantial derivative and divergence of velocity field. In this particular lecture, we will try to see our governing equations. So in terms of governing equations, as I told you yesterday, we are having a continuity equation, which is referred to as conservation of mass. Then we are having conservation of momentum, and we are having conservation of energy. Okay. So you might have already done the derivation of all these equations in your earlier courses like fluid mechanics, or some of you, those who are master's students, you might have studied a course on advanced fluid mechanics. Okay. But what I will do, I will try to discuss different forms of the continuity equation over here. And then for the momentum and energy equation, I will not go into detailed derivation, but only I'll write the final expressions. Okay. So let me first start with the continuity equation. So continuity equation, if I have to derive, I can employ a number of different ways for deriving a continuity equation. Okay. So the very first approach can be where I can select some finite control volume. So the size of this control volume is finite. Say it is having volume V bar, and the control surface which is associated with this control volume, say, is having surface area S. Okay. And I can consider that this finite control volume is fixed in space. Okay. So it is fixed in space, and some fluid is actually entering to this control volume, and some of the fluid is actually moving out of the control volume. Okay. So this can be one of the approach. Another approach can be that we can take this finite volume, and this finite volume we can consider that this finite control volume is moving. Okay, so the way fluid element is moving, this finite volume is also actually moving with the surrounding fluid medium. Okay, then so these two approaches involves the size of control volume as nothing but finite sized control volume. Another two approaches can be where I have infinitesimally small control volume. So say I have a control volume of size dV bar, and this control volume is once again fixed in space. So this is fixed in space, and in this also something is entering from some of the control surfaces and something is going out. Okay. And another approach can be that I have infinitesimal small control volume dV bar, and this dV bar is basically moving with the flow. Okay. So what we are having, if you do the categorization, on the left hand side we are having fixed control volumes in space. One of the control volume is of finite size, which is having volume V bar, and one is infinitesimally small, which is having volume dV bar. Okay. And on the right hand side we are having finite and infinitesimally small control volumes, and these control volumes are nothing but our fluid elements, and these are moving with the fluid. Okay. So what is the major difference? The major difference is that the amount of fluid or the identity of the fluid which will be there in the fixed control volume, that will be changing, because some of the fluid will be going out which was there inside the control volume, and a fresh fluid will be entering into the control volume. Okay. So identity of the fluid will be changing. In the second approach, what will be happening? Identity of fluid element will remain same. Okay. So here you can see the whatever the fluid we are having within the control volume, that fluid we are actually not moving out, because we are considering the conservation of mass. So mass of the fluid element is remaining same, but it is moving in the flow field. Okay. So it means over here identity of the fluid will be remaining same within the control volume. Okay. Now let me take up the first approach. So in the first approach, what we have a control volume of finite size V bar, and say control surface of this is S, and this is actually fixed in space. Okay. So this control volume is fixed in space. Now over this in this control volume, let me consider some small small surface over here. So say this is my ds, and say normal direction to this surface is n cap, and say this the surface, through this surface whatever the velocity field is coming, that velocity vector is nothing but v vector. Okay, and similarly what I have done, I have considered some small elemental volume over here. Okay, so I have also considered a small elemental volume within this finite sized control volume, and say this elemental volume is nothing but dv bar. Okay, now if I have to find out the mass flow rate, if I have to find out mass flow rate through control surface, ds, can you tell me what will be the amount of mass flow rate through control surface ds? So mass flow rate will be density at this particular location times volumetric flow rate, and volumetric flow rate is nothing but area into velocity. Okay, so area vector you are having over here, ds magnitude into n cap represents the direction, and we are having v as velocity vector. Okay, so if I just combine this ds into n cap with surface area vector, I will be getting rho times v bar vector into ds vector. Okay, so this is the mass flow rate which is actually going out through the control volume. Why I am saying mass flow rate going out? Because this velocity vector I have considered in the outward direction. So if velocity vector is in the outward direction, it means this is the mass which is going out of the control volume, and this control volume is actually fixed in space, and this mass is going basically out of the control surface. Okay, and now what will be happening if I have to find out the total mass flow rate? Okay, so if I have to find out total mass flow rate through entire control surface, so what will be happening if I have to find out through entire control surface? I have to do over here integration of the elemental control surface. Okay, so I'll take surface integral of rho times v vector dot ds vector. Okay, so this is my total mass flow rate which is actually going out. Now what will be happening, so you can see this, while we are doing the integration, this integration is actually covering our entire boundary of the control surface, so it is including the entire surface area of the control surface. Okay, so it means we have found the total mass flow rate which is actually moving through the control surface. Now this total mass flow rate which is going out, that will be basically changing the mass of the control volume. Okay, so what will be happening inside this control volume, if we are saying that some mass is going out, obviously the rate at which mass is going out, at the same rate we will be having some change in mass of the control volume. Okay, so now let me find out change in mass of control volume with time. Okay, because we are evolving our process with the time, so this is a continuous process which is happening with time. Fluid is moving out, so that's why with time there will be time rate of change of mass of the control volume. Okay, so over here if you see, if I take this small element, say this element is having density rho and its volume is dv, so I will be finding mass of this element as nothing but rho times dv bar. Okay, but if I have to find out the total mass of the entire control volume, because we are having finite sized control volume, so what I have to do, I have to do volumetric integration of this small elemental volume. Okay, so you can see this rho times dv and volumetric integral over v bar, it represents nothing but the total mass of the control volume. Now this total mass of control volume is actually changing with time, so that's why while writing the change of mass of control volume with time, I have to use term over here del by del t. Okay, so now you have to be very clear at this moment that why I am writing del by del t. Okay, because this particular control volume is fixed in space. So if it is fixed in space, there will not be variation within the control volume along the spatial coordinates. Okay, because it is fixed in space. So that's why at this particular spatial location we are actually trying to find out the variation within the control volume as function of time. Okay, so that's why we will be including del by del t term over here in place of d by dt. So d by dt substantial derivative we will be only considering when there is variation with space as well as time. So we are having convective derivative as well as the local derivative included. Okay, and if we are having our control volume fixed in space, then we have to only consider which term? We have to only consider the local part. Okay, so that's why I'm writing over here del by del t. Now, one important point I would like to highlight. Yeah, please.
You said that since it is fixed space, we are not using d by dt. But since it is fixed in space, we don't have other variables to worry about. So, shouldn't it be only d by dt? Yeah.
No, so basically
because volume is fixed with respect to space.
Yeah, so what I am saying, if it is fixed in space, so at that particular at that particular location, your convective derivative will not be existing. So that's why what we are having, we will be only having our derivative equal to the local derivative. Okay. So now what will be happening?
Yes,
what
sir.
will be happening? In this case, we will be having over here negative sign. Why negative sign I have to include over here? Because while we were considering our velocity field, we have considered the velocity vector in outward normal direction. Okay, so if our velocity vector is in outward normal direction, it means mass is going out of the control volume. So if mass is going out of the control volume, whatever the rate of change of mass of control volume we will be having, that will be actually having a negative sign, because mass of the control volume will be decreasing. Okay, so now this is the rate. So this number 1 is the rate at which our mass is going out of the control volume, and this second number is the rate at which mass of the control volume is changing. So obviously the rate at which mass is moving out, at the same rate we will be having change in mass of the control volume also. So that's why I can equate 1 and 2. So from 1 and 2, I can say that I can say surface integral of rho v vector into ds vector will be equal to minus del by del t volume integral of rho into dv bar. Okay. Now what I can do, I can convert this surface integral into volumetric integral. How I can convert into volumetric integral? By using the Gauss divergence theorem. Okay, and this minus del by del t I can take to the left hand side. So if I take to left hand side, I will be finding del by del t integral of v bar. Okay, integral of v bar into rho dv bar, plus if I apply the Gauss divergence theorem, then I will be having volume integral of v bar into divergence of velocity field into dv bar. Okay, so this, and in the right hand side we will be having equal to 0. So we will be getting this as our continuity equation. Now you can see this continuity equation is in the integral form. Okay, so this is integral form of continuity equation. And one more thing you have to consider over here, this is the integral form of continuity equation, and this equation is derived once we were considering that our control volume is fixed in space. So that's why this is also known as conservative form of continuity equation. Okay, so this is also known as conservative form of continuity equation, and I can also call it as nothing but Eulerian form of continuity equation. Why Eulerian form? Because over here our control volume is fixed in space. So in our Eulerian approach, we fix our control volume in space. Okay, so this is in the integral form, and because our control volume is fixed in space, so that's why we call this approach as conservative form also, and I can also call it as Eulerian form of continuity equation. Now let me take its corresponding count.
Hello, sir. Sir, there should be minus in front of that change in mass term, because it is change in mass. So it should be positive.
Yeah.
But in the equation, it should be negative.
So what I have done, if you see in the previous slide, Okay, if you see in the previous slide, I have already included minus term with the rate at which control volume mass is actually decreasing. Okay. Okay, so now let me talk about control volume. This is also finite sized control volume, and this
Sir.
control volume, yes.
Sir, you said mass is decreasing. Can you specify, clarify, sir?
Yes,
Mass is
yes,
decreasing.
yes, yes. You can see over here what is happening. This control surface is having, this particular control surface is having velocity of fluid medium in outward direction. Okay. So if velocity of fluid medium is in outward direction, it means from the boundary of the control volume, some fluid is moving out. So if some fluid is moving out, in that case, what will be happening? The rate at which fluid is moving out, at the same rate, there will be change in mass of the control volume. Okay. So that is what I am talking about over here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now let me take another approach. So in this second approach, what we will be doing over here, let us consider that we are having once again a finite sized volume and surface is S, and this control volume is basically moving with time. Okay, so what we are doing over here, we are saying that our control volume is actually moving with time. So if control volume is moving with time, in that case, what will be happening? The identity of the matter within the control volume will be remaining same. So that's why whatever the mass we are having within the control volume, that will not be changing. So now in this control volume, let me once again take some infinitesimally small elemental volume. Say this elemental volume is dV bar, and corresponding to this elemental volume, say density field is rho. Okay. So for this elemental volume, what will be happening? My mass of the small element will be delta m, and that will be equal to rho times dV bar. Okay, so this is the mass of the small element. If I have to find out the mass of control volume, entire control volume, so mass of entire control volume will be nothing but volumetric integral of delta m. So it will be volumetric integral of delta m, and it will be becoming integration over the entire volume rho times dV bar. Okay. So now what will be happening? What I am saying that this particular control volume is actually moving with space. So it is not at fixed location in the space. It is actually moving within the flow field. Okay. So that's why what will be happening for this control volume, as I told you, that the identity of the matter within this will always remain same. So that's why mass, from the conservation of mass principle, I can say d by dt of mass of this control volume will be equal to 0. Okay. So now I am using d by dt because now our equation will be using the complete form. It will be using the complete spatial distribution, convective derivative, and the local derivative, both terms. Okay. So now you can see this mass, I have a volumetric integral of rho into dV. So I can write my equation as d by dt times of volumetric integral rho into dV bar equal to 0. Okay. So this is another form of our continuity equation, which is particularly known as non-conservative form. Okay. Why non-conservative form? Because over here, our mass of the fluid element is actually moving with space. Okay. It is not fixed in the space. Okay. And this particular equation is also known as Lagrangian form of, this is also known as Lagrangian form of continuity equation. Okay. Now, apart from these two, so once again, this is in the form of integral. So this is also an integral form of our continuity equation. Okay. So now, apart from these two, there is one more approach which I told you, that what we can do, we can consider that we are having small infinite, say, let me draw it on the coordinate system. Say I have x, Cartesian coordinate system, x, y, z. Okay. and over this XYZ I have a fluid element, and this particular fluid element is actually of infinitesimal small size. Okay, so what will be happening in this fluid element? You can say that, say, size of the fluid element in this direction is dx, in vertical direction it is dy, and in third direction it's say dz. Okay, so now what will be happening in the x direction? We will be having some mass flux over here, rho u, through this particular left face, and through the right face we will be having mass flux as rho times u plus del u by del x into dx. Okay, and similarly I will be having some mass flux in the vertical direction as rho v, and over here I'll be having rho times v plus del v by del y into dy. Similarly, in the z direction, if I consider component of velocity as w, so rho times w will be the mass flux in the left face, in the front face, and in the back face I can say rho times w plus del w by del z into dz. Okay, so this is one of the fundamental approach which most of you use in our most of us have done in our undergraduate courses also. Okay, so now what we will be doing, we will be once again defining the change of mass flux in all the directions, and we will be also defining the rate of change of mass of this fluid element. Okay, so this is very elemental form. I will not go into the detailed derivation. This you can do by your own. I will now write only the final expression. So if you use this particular approach, you will be finding finally del rho by del t plus del rho by del x, okay, plus del so here it will be del rho u by del x plus del rho v by del y plus del rho w by del z will be equal to 0. So this will be the final expression which you will be getting from this particular elemental form. So now over here you can see what assumption we have initially considered. We have considered that our fluid element is infinitesimally small. Okay, so our fluid element over here is very, very small. It means our dV bar is almost approaching to 0. Okay, and in this particular equation you can see that our field variables, particularly the density field and velocity field, etc., are coming or included within the differential term. So that's why we require actually continuous properties. Okay, so if we are having some discontinuity in the property, then probably we will not be able to apply this particular approach. Okay, and
what are the field variables?
Sorry,
What were the field variables?
density, velocity.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now what this particular form of our continuity equation is actually involving the equation in differential form. So this is actually differential form, and here while I am driving this particular form, I have considered that my control volume is fixed in space. Okay, so control volume is fixed in space. So that's why this particular approach is also called as this equation is also called as conservative form of continuity equation, or I can also call it as Eulerian form of continuity equation. Okay, so these are the different names which I can give to this particular equation. Now instead of this, if I take the another approach, so another approach, what I can do, I can consider my small elemental volume. Okay, and I can consider that this small elemental volume is actually moving with the flow. So if it is moving with the flow, so my mass of this elemental volume delta m is rho times dV bar. So if it is moving with the flow, I can write mass conservation as d by dt of delta m equal to 0. So from here I can write d by dt of rho times dV bar is equal to 0. So from here I can write that del rho by, or let me keep it this equation like this only. So if I write it like this, then I will be calling this particular equation as nothing but my, I can call this particular equation as nothing but my non-conservative form, because here we are considering that our fluid medium is actually moving with, here we are considering that our fluid element is actually moving with moving within our space. Okay, and this is also known as Lagrangian description. Okay, so this is how like we can obtain the continuity equation in different ways. Now if you see, we have employed different approaches, and each of the approach has resulted in some form of equation which may appear to us mathematically different, but ultimately if we physically try to understand, each and every equation gives us the same physical meaning. Okay, and one more thing we are having, if we know one form of the equation, we can relate another form of the equation. Okay, so let me give you this example. So for example, if I write the conservative form of our integral equation, so I have written that del by del t of volume integral rho times dv plus surface integral of v vector into ds vector equal to 0. So this is what I have called it as integral form, and it is our conservative form. Okay, so now from this integral conservative form, how I can actually derive our differential conservative form, that let us try to see. So what I have done, I have taken this initial integral conservative form of the equation, and by using this equation I will try to now derive our equation in the conservative form only, but in differential form. Okay, so first thing what I will be doing, I will be applying the Gauss divergence theorem. So if I apply Gauss divergence theorem, I can write this second term as volume integral of divergence of v vector into dv bar. Okay, so this is after the application of the Gauss divergence theorem. Now one more thing, let me tell you what we are considering. We are considering over here that we are having dv bar as some small elemental volume, and we are doing this integration over v bar. Okay, so while we have considered this particular equation we have derived for a control volume which is fixed in space. Okay, so here we are having some control volume which is having volume v bar, and this control volume is actually fixed in space. So when we have some control volume which is fixed in space, it means its volume will not be changing. Okay, so its volume, it will remain constant. Okay, so a control volume which is fixed in space, within that control volume, because the boundary of the control volume will not be changing, so always its volume will be fixed. So that's why while I'll be performing this integration over here, this I will be performing over the limits v bar, and v bar will be always fixed. So if my limit of integration is fixed, in that case what I can do, this del by del t I can actually bring inside the integration. Okay, so I can bring it inside integral term by considering that my limit of integration is not changing. So limit of integration is actually not changing for a control volume which is fixed in space. Okay, so that's why what I can do, this del by del t term I can bring into my integration inside. Okay, so what I'll be writing over here, del by del t of rho times dv bar, and plus I have already got volumetric integral of divergence of velocity vector into dv bar equal to 0. So now what I can do, I have in both the terms dv bar as common, so I can say integral of v bar into del rho by del t plus divergence of velocity vector into dv bar will be equal to 0. Okay, so this entire, because dv bar is
Sir, you have missed rho term in the flux term.
Yeah, I
Rho
have
in the-
missed. Yeah, there will be one row. Thank you. So I'll be having here rho into v bar. Yes, I have started with the wrong. So here it has to be rho v bar into dot ds. Okay. So what will be happening over here? What will be happening over here? Now you can see this dv bar cannot be 0 because we are considering some elemental volume. So if this whole integration has to be 0, in that case I have to make this integrand to be 0. Okay. So that's why I can write that del rho by del t plus divergence of rho into v vector is nothing but equal to 0. So if you now see, this is, what is this? This is our equation. This is our continuity equation in which form? Differential form. Okay. So how this equation is in differential form, let me explain you, because earlier while I have written the continuity equation in conservative differential form, I have written it like this: del rho by del t plus del by del x of rho u plus del by del y of rho v plus del by del z of rho w. Okay. So if I consider that my del operator is, already I have given you the definition in the earlier lecture, del by del x plus j cap del by del y plus k cap del by del z. Okay. And if I have v vector as u times I cap plus v times j cap plus w times k cap. If I multiply rho with v vector, I will be finding rho u times I cap plus rho v times j cap plus rho w times k cap. Okay. Now if I take the divergence of rho v, then I'll be finding del by del x times of rho u plus del by del y times of rho v plus del by del z times of rho w. So it means this entire term over here I can actually replace with divergence of rho into velocity vector. Okay, so that is what we have got in the previous slide. So if you see in this particular slide, we have started with the integral conservative form of the continuity equation, and finally we have ended up in getting some differential form, and the differential form which we have got, that is also in the conservative form. Okay. Now one more
Sir,
thing
can you explain in the previous slide? Can you explain how you went from del by del t of rho dv to del rho by del t? Yeah. So
so in the first term, what I have done, if you see in this first term also we are integrating over the volume, and in
yes,
the
sir.
second term also we are integrating over the volume.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I can take this both these terms common, and outside I can integrate both with volume. Okay, together.
Sir, but both the d by rho like the rho by dou t is also acting on dv in the first term.
Sorry.
The del by del t on the first term is also acting on dv, right?
Yes. So basically, if you see, this del by del t was outside the integration. Okay. So del by del t, while I have taken, it will be only acting on the rho, because integration I am
Okay.
doing over the v. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. The brackets gave me a wrong impression. Sorry for that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have put it wrongly, I think. Okay. So this is, let me now tell you that if we are having, say, initially the differential conservative form of the equation, then how I can derive non-conservative form. So I have, say, del rho by del t plus divergence of rho into v vector equal to 0. So this is nothing but our conservative form. Okay, so this is conservative form, and if I now apply over here a little bit of vector calculus, I'll be finding it plus rho times divergence of v plus v vector dot delta times rho equal to 0. Is this point clear? Whatever I have written over here. So this is
Yes,
nothing
sir.
but I have applied vector calculus over here. So now what will be happening, if you see this del rho by del t plus rho times divergence of, sorry, plus, if you see these two terms, if you combine this first and the third term, so what it will be? It will be nothing but d rho by dt plus rho times divergence of velocity field equal to 0. So this is nothing but our which form? Non-conservative form. I think you might be having some confusion because previously I have not expanded the non-conservative form fully. So if you see earlier, I have written that non-conservative form is representing d by dt of integral, volumetric integral rho times dv bar equal to 0. So if you expand this d by dt over here over the volume and over the rho, then you will be finally finding your equation in this form. Okay, so that's why this particular equation is actually also called as the non-conservative form of continuity equation. Okay, so what we are having ultimately, what I want to say that though we are having the ways for deriving a equation, different ways of deriving a equation. Okay, mathematically, if we represent, it will be looking that our mathematical expressions are different, but all these mathematical expressions are actually carrying the same physical meaning. Okay, the approach with which we have derived these equations are different, but ultimately each and every equation is actually carrying the same physical meaning. Okay, one more important part I would like to highlight over here. So while we have derived the integral form of the equation, we have considered finite sized control volume. Okay, and while we are deriving our differential form, we are considering infinitesimally small control volume. So that's why when we are having the finite sized control volume, that finite sized control volume can take care of some discontinuities which we are having in our field variables. Okay, why? Because we are integrating over the entire control volume. So while we will be integrating our equation over the entire control volume, some of the discontinuities will be taken care of. But when we are considering the infinitesimally small element, then we have to consider, because we have to take the differentiation of the field variable. So there we have to consider that our function has to be, field variable function has to be continuous. Okay, so that's why particularly if we talk about compressible flow situations where we are having the presence of shock waves, etc., which creates discontinuity into our flow field. So there we have to mainly go for the integral form of our governing equations. Okay.
Sir, I did not understood how they, like, you have integrated, you have reached to the non-conservative form from non-conservative differential from non-conservative integral form. Like there is only one d by dt in the last line. There's only d
Yes.
by dt, and gradient is a space, like derivative in space. So how, just from words, can you explain how?
You are saying from this equation d by dt, volume integral rho dv to d rho by dt.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Yeah. So what you do, you try by your own. Okay. So if you are not getting, then I'll tell you in the next lecture. Okay. So
Okay,
this
sir.
you can try by your own. What will be happening? You have to split first these two terms, and then you have to employ the definition of divergence of velocity field, whatever I have told in the previous lecture. So you try to do it by your own first. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now let me talk about next equation, which is our momentum equation. Okay. So in terms of momentum equation, now I will not go into the detailed derivation. Probably you all have studied momentum equation in your basic fluid mechanics course as well as the advanced fluid mechanics course, and we also study these momentum and energy equation in our heat transfer course, while we particularly study the concept of convection. Okay. So in terms of momentum equation is nothing but it comes from the Newton's second law of motion, which says that sum of all the forces is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay. So in case of flow field, what we will be having, if we consider in Cartesian coordinate system, we will be having three different directions. So we will be having x momentum equation, we will be having y momentum equation, and we will be having z momentum equation. Okay, so we know in case of fluids, if we have to determine mass into acceleration on per unit volume basis, so I can write rho times du by dt, because while we will be calculating the acceleration of the fluid element, we have to include the effect of convective derivative plus effect of local derivative. So that's why the acceleration of the fluid element on per unit volume basis will be rho times du by dt. Okay, so that will be my left hand side, and in the right hand side, what I'll be having? In the right hand side, I'll be having sum of all the surface forces plus sum of all the body forces. Okay, so surface forces, let me write over here, say what surface forces I'll be having? Can you tell me? I'll be having normal pressure in the normal direction, so del P by del X I'll be having, and apart from that I'll be having some which forces? Forces because of the, yes, shear stress. Okay, so that will be including, say, that will be including which terms? Del by del X of tau xx plus del by del Y of tau yx plus del by del Z of tau zx. Will there be any other term?
Sir, gravity term.
Gravity for body.
Yes, plus I can write
Body.
rho times gx. So these terms over here includes our surface forces, and this term over here includes nothing but our body force. Okay, now similarly I can write the equation in which direction? Similarly I can write the equation of momentum in y direction. I will not give you the details, you can write by your own, and similarly you can write the momentum equation in z direction. Okay, now I can also write the vector form of this equation, which will be including all x, y and z equations into a single equation. So if I have to write in the vector form, how I can write? Can you tell me? I can write del by del t of rho v vector plus divergence of rho times v vector into v vector. Okay, this I can write. That will be equal to nothing but our minus gradient of p plus divergence of, say, tau vector, and what else I will be having? Plus I will be having rho times g vector. So this is my momentum equation. This is my momentum equation, particularly in which form? This is my momentum equation in vector notation. Okay, now what will be happening to this momentum equation? So this particular momentum equation is known as Cauchy's equation. Okay, so in this particular equation, for this shear stress term, for this shear stress tensor, we have not considered any relation with the viscosity and the velocity gradient. Okay, so over here this shear stress is actually including the general definition. So if it is including the general definition, so it will be applicable for each and every kind of fluid. So this particular equation is referred to as Cauchy's equation of momentum. Okay, and this is the most generalized form of momentum equation because it is applicable for each and every kind of fluid medium. Okay, now if in this Cauchy equation I take the assumption of, I take the Navier-Stokes assumptions. Okay, so if I take Navier-Stokes assumptions, then what will be happening? I'll be finding that my shear stress vector will become, shear stress tensor will become mu times tau xx, tau yx, tau zx tau xy, tau yy, tau zy, and I'll be having what? Tau xz, tau yz, and tau zz. Okay, and so this is mu I will not be having over here. Now if I substitute the value of shear stress by considering the assumption of Newtonian fluid, I'll be having tau equal to mu times 2 del u by del x. What I'll be having for tau ix? Del v by del x plus del u by del y. Here what I will be having? Del w by del x plus del u by del z. Here I will be having del v by del x plus del u by del y. Here I will be having 2 times of del v by del y. Here I will be having del w by del y plus del v by del z. Okay. Similarly, over here I will be having del w by del x plus del u by del z. Then here I will be having del w by del y plus del v by del z, and here I will be having 2 times of del w by del z. So this I will be getting once I apply the assumption of Newtonian fluid over here. So my stress vector will be becoming, shear stress tensor will be taking these particular mathematical forms in terms of viscosity and the gradients of velocity field. So once we apply, once we substitute this particular assumption over here, what we will be having? We will be having our final equation, which will be only applicable for Newtonian fluids, and such equations are known as nothing but Navier-Stokes equations. Okay, and particularly while we will be studying in this particular course, we will be mainly considering Navier-Stokes equations only. Okay. Then,
Sir, you haven't applied the Stokes hypothesis in this.
yes, so lambda term I have already not considered over here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what I am doing, I am writing only the final form of Navier-Stokes equation. Okay. Okay, so next part is what we are having. We have one more important equation which is actually required, and that is nothing but our energy equation. Okay, so what will be energy equation? Energy equation will be del rho E divided by del T plus divergence of rho E into V vector. So this will represents the local and convective flow of energy, and this has to be equal to what will be now in the right hand side. In the right hand side we will be having conduction effect. Okay, so conduction effect will be divergence of K, where K is thermal conductivity, gradient of temperature field T. Okay, then so this is coming from heat transfer. One more term we will be having. Which term we will be having? Rho times Q dot generation. So this will be my rate of heat generation. Once again, this includes the heat transfer part. This is our change of energy of control volume. So change of energy of control volume is net rate of heat and work transfer. So in terms of work transfer, what we will be having? In terms of work transfer, we will be having gradient of P dot product with velocity field. Okay, and what we will be having? Minus we will be having this times velocity vector. Okay, and we will be having rho into G vector times velocity vector. Is this point clear? So what I have done over here, I have written the energy equation in our vector notations. Okay, so this is actually the concise way of writing our detailed energy equation. So what I am doing, I am not going into the detailed derivation of the momentum and energy equation, but what I am doing, what you can do, you can quickly like revise your derivation concepts for momentum and energy equation. Over here, what I have done, I have only given you the final forms of these equations. Okay. Now, all these equations, what we have got, all these equations can be derived from a generalized equation, which we call as nothing but our generalized scalar transport equation. Okay, so if I write generalized scalar transport equation, that can help us in finding each of the equation: continuity, momentum, and energy. Okay, so what we do in generalized scalar transport equation, we write one temporal term del rho phi by del t, then we will be writing some convective term. So convective term will be our divergence of rho phi into v vector. So this is our convective term. Then we will be writing some, because what we are having, this represents the local derivative. Okay, so time rate of change. This represents the convective term, how with space our properties are changing within the control volume. Okay, and then we will be having some diffusion term over here. So diffusion term will be, say, gradient of divergence of gamma times. So this gamma I am considering as diffusion coefficient. Okay, so gamma I am considering as nothing but our diffusion coefficient times gradient of phi, and then I will be having plus some source term. So this is my source term. So this is how our actually field variable moves. For example, phi I am considering, say phi is some scalar, and that scalar is actually changing within the control volume. So in that case, what will be happening? We will be having the change of phi with reference to time. We will be having the change of phi with reference to the spatial locations, which is induced because of the flow. Then we will be having the change in phi due to the diffusion of the phi within the control volume, and we will be having some source term over here. Okay, so now let me give you some example. If I consider phi equal to u, x direction velocity, so in that case, what will be, my equation will be taking the form del rho u by del t plus divergence of rho u into v vector, and I'll be having over here gradient of this gamma. In place of gamma, for velocity now we have our dynamic viscosity as the diffusive term. So in place of gamma, I'll be writing mu, and over here I'll be having divergence of the gradient of the, here I'll be having divergence, and here I'll be having divergence of the u velocity del u, and then I'll be having some source term over here, and source term will be nothing but rho into gx. Okay, so you can see this is a generalized equation. In this generalized equation, while I have taken the value of phi equal to u, some direction specific velocity, I have got nothing but my x momentum equation. Similarly, if you substitute over here, in place of phi, if you substitute temperature field, you will be finding that you will be finding nothing but your energy equation. Okay, and in place of phi, if you substitute 1, you will be finding nothing but your mass conservation equation. Okay, so let me just tell you, if we equate phi equal to 1, I'll be getting del rho by del t plus divergence of rho into velocity vector. And while we are not considering any chemical equations within our control volume, so we will not be having any diffusion of mass, so that's why diffusion term will be 0, gamma will be 0 when we are not considering the mass transfer within the control volume. And we are not having, if we are not having any process which involves the generation of mass, then we will be having source term also equal to 0. Okay, so if I substitute phi equal to 1, then I am getting nothing but my continuity equation. Okay, so this is one generalized scalar transport equation. In this particular equation, if we add any of our parameter depending upon the requirement of the equations, we will be able to get all continuity, momentum, and energy equations. Okay, so now I will stop at this point, and we'll have further discussion in our next lecture.